First of all, let me congratulate Praveen Prashant and Indian Chemical News for sustaining this activity for the last 7 years. It is Indian Chemical News, and of course, in one of the earlier speakers mentioned distinguished colleagues from the industry, and if there is anybody from the academia, there was a suggestion. Of course, I do not see much of a presence of academics in such meetings. For the last 4 or 5 years, I have been interacting with Praveen Prashant. We are trying to collaborate. We are trying to bring academics also into these discussions. The theme of this conference is next generation chemicals or petrochemicals, next generation chemicals and petrochemicals. And also, it was mentioned that, react, create, and innovate. And sustainability is definitely involved in all these things. Probably I will put it in a different way. Srishti, Sthiti, and Samharam. Creation, sustenance, and destruction. How that our chemistry, our technology has to look into the creation, that is creation of substances, creation of molecules. Probably we can say molecules, materials, and matter. Everything is covered there. And Indian Chemical News should also cover, of course, he mentioned that we are going to cover the pharmaceuticals also in the probably after a few years it will not be just ICN, it may be ICPN also. Of course, I leave it to Praveen Prashant. And it is very important to look at these 3 areas. For example, we talk about chemicals, chemical industry and all that. We are all from the chemical industry. We hear the history of chemical industry in this country. It is the Imperial Chemical Laboratories, started by Imperial Chemical Industries, started by Acharya Prafulla Chandra Ray, a chemist from Calcutta, who started, he is the father of the chemistry and father of the chemical industry in the country. He started industries and also he taught in university. So that type of thing has helped the chemical industry in this country in a very significant way. But if you just look at, I am from the academic, I have been a teacher on the university system for the last 55 years, a chemistry professor, a researcher. I worked in Max Planck Institute for Polymer Research, several areas. But I also interact with the new universities now, started by industries. For example, now in many of the universities with 60,000, 50,000 students and all that, if you ask how many chemistry students are there, there are not chemistry students. There are no chemistry. Chemistry is being taught in many of the institutions. Chemical engineering may be taught in some of the institutions, but chemistry is not taught. And of course, we talk about the sustainability, we talk about the waves, as he mentioned rightly. The waves, for example, we hear about the artificial intelligence wave. A lot of things are happening. For example, a Nobel Prize in chemistry has been given to a system, an artificial intelligence tool known as AlphaFold. A Nobel Prize in chemistry was given to that thing 2 years ago. That technology can predict, AlphaFold can predict the structure of about 300 million proteins. 300 million proteins. They can predict the structure without going to the laboratory, without an X-ray spectrometer, without any cryo-electron microscopy, they can predict. And now another advantage is going to come. And then, of course, I also interact with, I am in the process of developing universities, helping universities and all that. So in the new generation universities, I asked some of the young postdoctoral researchers and those who come from foreign countries after doing excellent research in foreign countries in experimental chemistry. They come back to India and then I asked them, when are you going to take and start full-time research students to support your research? The question, I was really surprised. Why should I take students for chemistry? I can give the project to an artificial intelligence and get the results. That is the type of That is the type of reaction which is happening. Probably, therefore, there is very importance, particularly there is there's a necessity for re-looking at the relation between the chemical industry and the chemical education. Look at the American Chemical Society. Of course, there is also a journal known as Chemical and Engineering News, C&EN. Every weekly they are publishing. You just look at the type of collaborations which are happening between the laboratories and the industry, between the academic laboratories and the industries. And there is a need for doing such collaboration. Even some of the universities started by chemical industries, there are not enough students to learn chemistry. That's the situation. But forget about the conventional public universities and all that. There are not even students to study chemistry. Probably we have to have a relook at this thing. And innovations can happen. Innovation can happen only when we have a strong collaboration between the academic institutions and in the industries. And of course, you know that some of the premier institutions in this country, of course, I don't have hesitation to mention the name of Institute of Chemical Technology. It was started as a University Department of Chemical Technology, UDCT in Bombay. Some of you may be from that institution. It has come out as Institute of Chemical Technology. We need several such institutions. For example, when in CSIR we had 44 laboratories. Many of them are chemistry-related laboratories. There was at one time, CSIR wanted to bring effective academic collaboration between the universities and all that. It did not happen. And then CSIR created another institution known as Academy of Scientific and Industrial Research. I don't know whether you have heard about it. Academy of Scientific and Industrial Research. That is the academic wing of the CSIR. It is a separate university level, national institution of national importance. When Dr. Mashelkar was heading CSIR, it was created. And therefore, it's very important to look at research in a very significant way. Of course, R&D is happening in many of your industries. I know it very well. I have a very large research group also. But it is very important to find out what are things happening. For example, chemoinformatics. The type of information which the chemical industries can provide to the field of chemoinformatics is exorbitant. Lot of things can be done. Chemoinformatics, it's a big area. Chemical biology is a very important area. Of course, earlier there was mention about semiconductor, new materials and all that. So we have also chemical biology, chemical physics. Chemical physics is coming in a big way. In Bombay itself, one of the premier industrialists, they have started 2 research institutions, but not in chemistry. One in physics and one in mathematics. It's a good thing. I really congratulate them for starting an international research institution in Bombay, in the city of Mumbai, supported by an industry. The Lodha group has started an institution of physics, an institution of mathematics, inviting prominent Nobel laureates and prominent field prize winners from different parts of the world. But if you just look at the chemical research in this country, chemical research was one of the prominent areas which was happening. Maybe if you just, when I have taken chemistry and all that, chemistry was the most sought subject, most demand subject. Most of the brightest students go to chemistry. Now, even in the Indian Institute of Science or ISERS in this country, if you advertise for chemistry postgraduate students, there are no students. That's the situation. Probably we have to change. We have to connect with the industry. We have to connect with the industry and try to find out what they can do. I mentioned about some of the universities started by chemical industries also. Even there are no chemistry students. That probably we have to just look at these opportunities. And if you just look at the innovations happening in chemical research, it is unimaginable all over the world. Probably we have to just look at in those areas. Of course, earlier there was a mention of new materials also. For example, semiconductor materials, National Hydrogen Mission, and a National Hydrogen Mission is equivalent to National Ammonia Mission, because hydrogen, when we say hydrogen, it is directly connected with ammonia and fertilizers. Then we have what is that? Quantum mission is happening. Quantum energy is going to be used for artificial intelligence and all that. And also there was a mention of water and energy. Water and energy. For example, in order to for the artificial intelligence reply of an email, 3 or 4 sentences, the type of energy which is required is the 1 bottle of water energy is required for just to get an AI, for an email reply from an artificial intelligence. This is the things are happening. We are not worried about where is the energy going to come for the entire artificial intelligence and quantum technology. Of course, quantum technology, quantum computers are not in practice so far because of this energy crisis. Maybe chemistry, sustainable energy, all these things are going to be very, very important in this matter. Maybe when we think about, of course, at a time, several years back, if you say that you are a chemist, there was cases in this country. Chemists were denied visa because they described them as chemists at one time. Probably they wanted to change the name of that subject itself. So we have to take it seriously. We have to understand that we are supporting the energy, we are supporting materials from creation to sustenance to destruction. The chemistry is involved, and we have to just look at the sustainability. And that's why you mentioned probably when we talk about new institutions and all that we have to think about a school of molecules, materials, and matter. Everything is covered there. Molecules means every molecule, biological molecule, pharmaceutical molecule, everything. And then materials, advanced materials for different purposes. Materials and matter, that is the matter and energy, the different things. So maybe there is a lot of scope in this country for effective collaboration between industries and academic institutions. And when we think about the R&D setups in industries, we have to just look at this sustainability and all these factors and all these mantras Prashant has mentioned in developing such institutes. I have prepared based on the theme, I have prepared a small speech. I don't want to read it. I will give it to Prashant. He will publish it in the Indian Chemical News. But a lot of things can be done. I am an incorrigible optimist. I sincerely believe that chemistry can do a lot, chemical industry can do a lot, and collaboration between the chemical industry and the research institution. For example, I mentioned some of these areas, whether it be chemical biology or chemical physics or chemoinformatics. Lot of things can be done. IT and chemistry putting together chemoinformatics. For example, we talk about the artificial intelligence. The other day, I was in AEG hospital in Hyderabad. That, of course, it is Dr. Nageshwar Reddy. He was mentioning about the artificial intelligence machines which are being used in that hospital. 100 computer scientists are involved in a hospital 25 years old, and they are using the data for different purposes. And because of the artificial intelligence data, they are also improving the performance of the hospital. But the data is not from India, mostly. For example, most of the artificial intelligence data is not from the India. Maybe from that aspect you have to take into consideration. In chemical industry, when it comes to artificial intelligence adoption and all that, we have to just look at the data which is of Indian origin, which is of your creation, our chemical industry creation, and informatics has to be applied to that. And there is a lot of scope intellectually and also industrially. There is a lot of scope for such collaboration. That is the type of, probably I want to touch upon that innovations. I am also trying in my own capacity, wherever I am working as a professor or a vice chancellor, I have been trying to connect industries with academic institutions together. Thank you very much.